Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the Lifted, Lowered, and Confused podcast. We're back here at Ryan's house again. It's like we never left.
Deja vu.
Deja vu.
We're still wearing
part
the same clothes.
Wore
two.
the same clothes for this one.
That's true. That's true.
Dean's on that liquor now. Touching
That's
buttons. Or...
I'm on that liquor.
That lacquer. That lacquer.
Plain lacquer.
So today, we're going to talk to Kurt.
Hey.
We're going to get to know Kurt a little bit.
Kurt?
Came down from Indy.
Indy Kurt.
Yep.
Yeah, the elusive Indy Kurt.
So,
Yeah.
same line of questioning.
Yeah,
What got you
man.
into cars? How long you been into cars?
So it goes all the way back before I was even able to drive. Goes back to 14 years old when I was driving, when I wasn't supposed to be driving, I guess. But so working on cars, working on people's stuff, always into something mechanical, always got into it.
Yeah, you were on the mechanic role for a long time. Like you used to hook up your brother's car, the Mitsubishi, all the time.
That's all I've ever done, man. I pretty much worked on cars nonstop since 16. Working on stereos for people, that got me into that, and that's spiraled out of control now. It's
Significantly out of control.
yeah, I should have never done.
You have a problem. You need an intervention.
Significantly out of
Yeah,
control.
big intervention.
all
You
need
ain't
an
lying.
intervention.
You've got a problem like that level out of control.
So yeah, I've worked on them forever. I had a lot of different cars growing up. First one started out, had a 76 Chevy Nova. Ugly car, tan, orange pinstriping, disgusting. Drove that thing around for a while. I was like, yeah, I need to do something to this. So I started working on it, repainted it, had a buddy of mine do it, painted it green, did a few customizations to it, put a set of wheels on it, tinted windows, stereo, and the rest was history. It just constantly evolved over from that whole time right there. Went into the next vehicle and then the next one, just all whatever you could afford at the time. Everybody knows that. Everybody's been through that struggle.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
everybody had
We
some
touched on that a bit.
ghetto builds.
Whatever you had. I had a 95 Sonata at one point. I was like, I could put a stereo on that thing. And of course I did.
You over here like the rest is history. Like, yeah, your bank account. So
Yeah, exactly.
It goes.
Yeah, I got into that, and that was it. Everything else just goes bye-bye.
And your car now is obviously deadbeat. We've talked about that several times.
Yeah.
Tell us about that monstrosity.
World renowned.
So that one started out, first off, I had a blue one. I used to have a 74 Cadillac. It was a blue one. And I did 1212s in that, did a crazy stereo in that. Motor was pretty much stock in that one, drove it around, had fun with it, put air ride on it. And it was just a fun car to cruise around in and have fun. And the body on it was really bad. I didn't have the money at the time, put the body work into it. Of course, after time, the body was going to get pretty bad. So
With 1212s, it's going to accelerate that.
Exactly.
The
It's
body
gonna
decay.
Speed the process a little bit. So we drove that around for a while. It was fun. We took it to Indy for one Slamology, and we were on our way home. And I was 20 miles from home. And once we were there, 20 miles, my buddy's like, you smell something? I was like, no, what do you mean? He goes, it smells like coolant. I was like, I don't smell anything. I was like, this ain't good. We pulled off to the side. We pulled up. I was like, yeah, called a tow truck, got it home. And from that point, everybody's like, what are you going to do? You going to redo it? I was like, nah. I said, I don't want it no more. Everybody's like, what do you mean? I was like, I'm going to strip it down. I'm going to get another one. So I stripped that one down, ripped the stereo out of it, ripped the suspension out, put 2x4s in it to get it out of here.
Oh, wow.
Took the fenders off it, took parts I needed for the new one because I bought another new one.
There was no love lost on that. When you were done with it, you just like,
Done.
we're
Yeah,
done
I
with
pretty
it.
much
Yeah.
threw it away, and everybody's like, why are you getting
I
rid of
can't.
it?
I can't be like that. That's wild.
Oh, and
man.
you gotta go buy another.
Well, I had to because
Rest
pretty
easy.
much. That's
Easy-
exactly
easy
what
E.
happened. Well, I knew I was building another one, and I didn't want anybody in town to have the same car that I was building again.
Right.
So it wasn't done 100% the way I wanted. I bought the same year, coincidentally. I don't even know how that happened. I found it on
Weird.
eBay, and there was a guy selling it, and he wanted a lot of money for it. I was like, nah, I'm not buying it. Then I seen it again come up later. About a month later, he lost his job. Price came down. I'm like, okay, now it's getting a little more appealing. And then I called him up, and I worked out a deal. I said, look, I'll buy it, but I'm not buying it through eBay. I will come there, and I'll give you $1,500 for it. Man, I can't do that. Got my offer. That's what it is. The car was clean. It was from Texas. I said, I don't care about anything else. I just don't want the body to be bad on it. That's it. So he calls me back about a week later, says, man, I'll take it. I said, I'm on my way. We hooked up a trailer, and we just
No
drove
kidding.
straight out there.
Yeah.
Drove all the way out. It was like, it was
Sweated
a
'em.
22-hour turnaround, I think, by the time we left, hooked the trailer, got there. We got there at 9 o'clock at night. The guy wanted me to drive it. He's like, you want to drive around the block? I was like, nope. He was like, what do you mean? I was like, dude, when I get it home, I'm gutting this thing down to the frame. After I already paid him, he gave me the title, of course. The look on his face, just everything drained right out of his face.
Side
when I
note: Could
told
you
him that.
imagine buying a whole ass car for $1,500 with no rot?
Right? That's
A
exactly what it
Cadillac.
is.
Is
Oh,
that-
no less. Yeah,
Yeah.
no
I
less.
mean,
A big Cadillac.
Oh, hey,
even a dead man.
that looks like it ain't another Cadillac.
Exactly. So
awesome.
grabbed that up for $1,500, paid him, got home, started tearing it apart. We stripped it down to the frame within weeks. had it all tore apart in the garage. So we're running through that for a while and end up going through a divorce at the time. So the car is in pieces. I have the frame. I have the body off it. I think I just got the body back. We put the body, I don't even know if the body was back on it yet. Of course, you go through a divorce. You know how that goes. People paying money. And, well, I paid for half that. I said, what half do you want? You want the body? You want the motor and trans or the frame? Which one do you want?
Yeah.
That ended that real quick. So the debate was over. So at that point, it was nothing. So I took the car, had it. It sat for probably about 10 years. And all it was done was, it was basically the body work was done. It was set back on the frame because I stripped it all the way down. Bagged the frame, did everything there, had it ready to go. So when it came time to put it back together, I had the fiberglass dash I built it right in the car. So these guys actually came up in the process of it when it was pretty much finishing up. But I remember it was January of 2016 when it got painted. So it got painted in, October of 16, sorry. October of 16, it got painted. January, about the middle of January, I said, okay, I'm going to put it together and we're taking it to Slamology in June. And everybody's like, you're going to put this together. That's in 6 months. I said, yeah, it's going to Slamology. Everybody said, there's no way. It was literally a shell. And the doors were on it at this point. No front clip, no motor, no trans, no interior, nothing. No harnesses. I mean, I gutted it down to the frame. So everybody thought I was nuts. These guys were up. Ryan and Trent and all these guys came up, literally putting the back glass in it the week before Slamology, putting the front windshield in, putting other stuff in, putting the final touches on it before we took it down there. Now, we didn't have the stereo in at the time, but it actually went down there, and these guys could vouch for this. There was a guy that came up to me from the semi-truck show. Mm-hmm. He came over on Sunday. He said, hey, we seen that come in on the trailer. I was like, yeah. He goes, how much you want for it? I said, it's not for sale. He's like, sure it is. I was like, no, it's not. He's like, everything's for sale. I was like, not this. And he just looked at me like I was crazy. He offered a ridiculous amount. I was like, can't do it, man. He thought I was crazy, and that was that. And I was like, I'm still not done building the car yet. So,
what was offered? I think I remember.
I want to say
probably what they sold for now.
Right. When I
think it was significantly higher.
It was pretty high. Wow. He said, I think when I told him, I said, it'd probably be a dumb number. He goes, well, what's stupid? We're at the truck show. I said, well, it's not dumb to you guys. You got millions wrapped into your semis.
Yeah, yeah.
So he turned around. I said, it'd be upwards of $60,000. He goes, yeah, we're figuring around 60. So you want to sell it? I said, no. Man. So I said, I can't do it.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That would have been
I would have said paper or plastic. What the hell is wrong with you?
Check, please.
What you don't realize is
this dude
I understand about finishing a build, but $60,000 I would have been
harassed Kurt the entire weekend.
Yeah, the guy
and I don't have to service you $60,000.
Right. The guy harassed him the entire weekend, and finally I asked the guy. I was like, "Why do you want this so bad?" He goes, "Go look at my truck."
His truck was orange.
His truck was the exact same shade of orange, and he had full intentions of putting it on a trailer, and that was going to be his little display, dragging it around.
The hearse was going to be a display vehicle for his truck.
But you know what? Good. I will say this. Good on you.
So,
this tastes as bad as this is as rough as the whiskey, but good on you for good on you for sticking to your guns.
The other thing that you guys are not realizing on this one, so it wasn't just the build. It was the fact that people that I had help on the build that are no longer here no more. So I had friends that helped build this car, helped tear it apart and do everything, and I passed away since then.
Keys.
Of course, you're not going to get rid of those memories. The car wasn't even done yet. Yeah. Now, don't get it twisted. If someone comes out and offers it now, it's probably going to go bye-bye because I got other vehicles to work on too. Yeah. So, but it's just been
Why don't you hit old boy up? Be like, yo, you want to buy that?
I've thought about it, but I don't. I need it to drive till my 59's done.
He's in the process of building.
But could you imagine how much easier that 59 be done if you had $60K in your pocket? Be like, listen,
he's got two 59s sitting in his garage.
Tell him, and this is years ago. So
two-door hardtops.
A few years ago, be like, yo, same price. Right. I'm ready to let it go.
No. It won't be same price anymore.
No.
Since then, it got the stereo.
So get into that because you just redid it for the 18th time, 19th time, whatever.
So I think it's actually the third.
I think we're on the fourth build on this one. So
would you build it 3 times in 1 year?
No.
So we decided to build a stereo in it. I said I need to build a stereo. I want my stereo vehicles to be the last one I'm going to do. So I built a wall right behind me, and my buddy owns a stereo shop in town, DMB Sales. So he...
Shout out to Brandon. Good people.
Yeah, so he owns it now. Well, at the time, he didn't own it. He was still working there. So we talked about what we were going to do. We built a wall, 418s, right behind you with a port in the middle. And I had 4 2,000-watt amps. I was
this hearse, you don't know bigger. It's a 2-seater.
Yeah.
Theirs is a 2-seat vehicle. There's driver and passenger. That is it. And then stereo.
Kurt's is the hearse that everybody keeps telling me I need to go sit in.
But there's the front seat,
Yeah.
the box, and then a cargo area bigger than your average SUV today
Yes.
Wow.
of space available behind it.
That's bro. It's a hearse.
Yeah, so you could run everything in. So I got the.
Not just
So
a
it started
wagon,
out with
it's a
that.
hearse.
Then I decided, well, I got an idea. Let's just switch the subs out and switch the amps out. Addicting stereo stuff, you know how it goes. So we switched out the amps and switched out the subs. I'm like, let's see what it'll do. It got louder. Well, then he kept on hounding me saying, we need to rebuild the box. I said, dude, I'm not doing it.
What do you have for mids and highs in there at that point?
So I still had just miscellaneous stuff, 6.5 inch, probably Orion, 6.5 inch JBLs in the door, stuff like that.
How many?
12. There was 4 built into the dash, fiberglass.
You know, he
4 in
keeps
each
saying, you
door.
know how it is. I feel like we're talking to somebody that just made it through rehab.
Right?
They're like six.
You got to
they're like
explain it to
6
the
days
people.
clean. He's like, man, you know how it is. I had that itch. So what we did
I had to
was
get some more.
I had to
So you
get
had-
those speakers, baby.
You'd custom made a dash.
Yeah, so I fiberglassed the whole dash into it, built one in there. Everything was great at the time. Ran the 18s. It wasn't that bad. And then we decided, hey, let's go ahead and redo the stereo again. Let's do the box. And Brandon at DMB kept hounding me saying, hey, I'll sponsor you. You rebuild the box. I said, dude, no, I'm not doing it. I'm going through all that work. Well, as you know, I'm from Fort Wayne, so we have winter. We don't do much in the winter. My my car sits in the shop all the time. I'm like,
He made a good point.
I got an idea. Let's rebuild the stereo. My buddy was like, what? I was like, yeah, let's just do it. So everybody thought I was crazy. So we gutted it. We ripped everything out of it.
Jesus,
I had
man.
wiring laying everywhere. It was just a mess. So I'm like, oh, got to rebuild it now. So ordered up all the wood, had a design built by Baseaholic Productions, Drew Jones. He designed one for me. We got it all set. I kept the same subs, new box, plexiglass windows. It's a 4th order bandpass right behind me. So now all the subs are inverted now. They're not facing forward no more. So we get this done, and during the process, Brandon's like, hey, you should do this. You should. I said, look, dude, I'm doing this, and that's it. I said, you want to do anything else, you cover it, and I'll do it. He started looking around, started thinking. I'm like, oh, shit, what did I just do? So then he starts ordering stuff, and I'm like, oh, God, this ain't going to work. So I said, dude, I can't run all that. I don't have the electrical to run it. He was ordering stuff left and right, thinking we're going to drop all this stuff in there. I said, I'm not doing all that. The car will never handle all that. So mind you, I got 2 370 amp alternators in there. I had a 100 amp hour lithium in the back. I added a second 100 amp hour lithium. So here we are with enough electrical to run it.
You could run the Comus.
Pretty much. So then ran all that. There's 4 power runs, 4 ground runs running from front to rear in this thing, all one orange and gray wire. So we ran through all that, hooked it up, and I remember I was in the shop. The wife was in the house, so I'm tuning it. I didn't have it up yet. I was playing with it. The car wasn't running, nothing. So I'm just running off battery. See what it'll do. So I turn it up a little bit, and I go to the back to adjust the amp, but she comes walking in because she heard it in the house already, and I didn't have it on. So she's standing right next to it, and I remember she's standing there. The seat's not in it, and I turn the highs up, and she's kind of looking. She leans in, and I hit the bass knob, and it blew her sweatshirt back and blew her thing back. She goes, oh, my God. It's like, that's right. So I was like, yep. I said, this is what it needs right here. So from that point on, we tweaked it from then. And every year since then, it's always been something different. This year, we switched it over to running off a tablet because the Kenwood head unit, I had a Kenwood head unit, 10.1 screen in there. And the thing would always fold down because of the stereo. And finally, one day I was like, this touchscreen ain't working no more. I was like, this ain't good. It's a $1,500 Kenwood head unit. So it was a demo. Yeah,
Was.
$1,500.
So then it did it one day. Brandon saw. He's like, I don't know what that's about. It started working again. We're like, all right, keep on running it. It wasn't too much longer after that. We sent it back to Kenwood, and they said, yeah, you guys destroyed the ribbon cable in here that connects the face. We're like, okay, so that one's out. Put another cheap head unit in there. It was knocking the faceplate off. It was pulling the wiring out of the back. I mean, anything you could think of, it was destroying. I was like, well, this ain't going to work. So now we came up with a new idea. I said, all right, we're running it off a tablet now. So now I got a tablet that runs it all Bluetooth, so I don't have to have any head unit in there at all.
There you go.
Well,
That's
let's.
cool.
God
Well,
almighty.
we're going to touch on something right
I
quick.
hope I get to hear this thing before you get rid of it.
Oh,
and
I
whatnot.
don't think he's going to get rid of it
It ain't
anytime
going
soon.
Not anytime
But
soon.
hold on.
All right.
So it originally started out, what'd you say, 16 speakers?
Yeah,
Okay, 16 speakers.
yeah,
And now it's, I think, close to 30.
probably.
He added tweeters
Yeah,
along
There's a
tweeters
row
in
of
the
tweeters
ceiling.
on the ceiling.
ceiling.
I had to find somewhere to put those, so we put 8 super tweeters in the ceiling.
Let's talk about last
You know,
year's
the first step
discovery.
to absolution is admittance.
Well, wait
First
till
step's it. You got
wait
a
till you hear
problem,
this.
You got a problem, baby.
Exactly.
Wait till you hear this, Dean. Tell us about last year's discovery on the floorboard.
So that was last year, and
Metalwork was
this
completely done.
This was this
Car
year
was
again.
solid.
The car was completely solid. So last year, as people were sitting in there, the feet would bounce on the floor. And my buddy was like, man, the floor is bouncing over here. I was like, that's weird. Okay. Never thought about it. Well, then one day we were at Camp and Drag. This was last year. And I remember I was looking in there. I said, why can't I see the ground through my car? What is going on? I looked over. It completely ripped the metal at the center console where I had the center console mounted. It completely ripped the metal in half. I said, oh, man. So I ripped the carpet up. I looked at it. I was like, man, this ain't good. So I reinforced the floor at the time. I ended up putting, because you couldn't go in there welding because I had fiberglass dash, had all this stuff. So I put 3/4 inch birch on the floor to strengthen it, which was fine. So fast forward to this year, I'm underneath the car and I'm doing some stuff on the transmission. I look up, I said, why can I see my center console now? It decided where I strengthened it there, it was going to move its way up to the transmission tunnel and rip a section out of there.
The stereo was literally
just
tearing the car apart.
It'll,
and I want to get you in there, baby.
Picking a fault line and just going with it.
You're gonna live it.
So it's destroying that. It broke the ignition switch.
Just like we were talking about earlier with
Yeah.
the chopper. Don't matter how hard you build it, you're gonna keep finding the next weakest link that just sheared.
I think the ignition switch broke 3 times, and finally on the 3rd time I said, nope, we're putting push button start in.
Everything.
So
I thought you were gonna say
out.
Bluetooth again.
No.
Nope, we're gonna Bluetooth the
Everything's
ignition.
run
I
from the
switched
tablet.
Everything.
I
Everything
wish.
on the tablet.
And
That's
we're
the bad
steering.
thing. That's what it's doing. It's destroying everything. It's
Remote control.
Yeah,
broke the ignition switch.
It eats
so
itself.
I turn around
It
and
eats
I put
itself, man.
push button start on it, so that fixed that problem. It broke the mirrors on it. I had to glue those in because you can't see out the side mirrors on it. The only thing it hasn't taken out yet is the windshield. Let's just hope that doesn't
You're talking
happen.
about
That's
18
actually
gauge
surprising.
steel that's in a
Yes.
in a formed press position.
Taurus.
It's
Like nothing.
going to. These things are not going to last.
No.
With that level of SPL going through it, it just can't.
You have it metered?
Yeah, I have a meter
We
myself.
broke the meter too.
Well, no, I put the meter in there, and I just grabbed the meter as I was sitting there, and I hit it, and I was playing music, wasn't even test tones or anything, and it was 160 on the meter, and I said, yep, I'm good. That's it.
What the
I didn't even do
fuck?
anything else. I was like, that's
We're
it.
not even trying to hit right now.
Yeah.
And just
I wasn't trying to meter it. I didn't have the windows up. I think that was with both windows down, the meter just sitting right here in my hand. So I'm like, that's 160 here. I was like, it's like right there. It's probably even louder, right? So, yeah, it's wild. Yeah, I didn't even do all that. I didn't even do anything else with it again since then. But
that's wild.
So what? You got it bagged.
yes, it's all bagged all the way around.
20-inch rims, 22-inch. What do you got on
20s
it?
all the way
20s all
around. And engine-driven air compressor, 370 amp alternators bracket up, and that was fun having to bracket all that. So I should have just LS swapped it from the get-go. Now that I look back, because, man, it's everything that I had to do to this has been one thing after another. Because
funds
you-
permit different situations.
Yeah.
You and
You're
your
in a different place at that point.
you're right.
You and your boys did all the work yourselves, right?
Yeah, we
Didn't
pretty
source
much-
it out anywhere.
No, nothing was sourced out. The problem was every time the car left, anytime the car left my possession, something happened to it. So I didn't want to let anybody else have it. So anytime something was done to it, it was always in house. We always did everything.
Right.
So when it came time to switch the pulleys, because I couldn't run V-belts because, again, I have two 370 amp alternators. They can't run off a V-belt. You can only run up to about 170 amp alternator.
Really, I didn't know there was a limitation with
Yeah.
the V-belt.
170 is about what you can go on a V-belt, I was told.
I
And
was
that's
gonna
what I
say,
used
was
to
it
have.
just it's just a slipping thing?
Yeah, so now you got to get enough wrap around the pulleys. So now here I am. I'm like, how am I going to run a 370 amp alternator? So I figured it out.
So I bought this generator.
Yeah, exactly. So
He's got to start towing a trailer.
yeah,
So
funny
I
you
bought
say
this on
that. There
food
was a
truck.
Mech Man Hurst did that. He
Yeah.
he towed a trailer
Towed a trailer.
behind his. Yeah,
God.
because that was the only way he can get enough power with all the batteries in it. So we had to turn around. And I had to find all the pulleys, and this was a pain. There was a guy out in Mexico that
Solid.
he had to turn around and build the pulleys for it. He had some, but he couldn't get them, and I waited forever. But it was a triple crank pulley with all serpentine on it because I had to stagger the belts. So it was a triple crank pulley. Then I had to get the power steering pump pulley. I had to get the water pump pulley. I had to switch the alternators. I had to switch the engine driven. Everything had to switch to serpentine. Now I'm running 2 separate belt systems off the crank. One of them goes off the power steering side and goes to the water pump. The other one runs the 2 370s in the engine driven. But I also had to add, I think I added 3 different idlers in there to be able to get the wrap around all the pulleys to be able to make it go. And then trying to line all that up, there was a lot of.
At what
lot
point do you
of
just
bad
run
nights.
one off the drive shaft
my gosh.
and run the system when
I'm
it's
telling
driving?
you, that would have been probably a lot easier than all the headache I went through on this because it took. I bought a laser alignment tool to try to line them all up because you have the engine driven that
That's
can
a
move.
lot. That's a
you have the
lot.
alternators that can move. You have and 74. They
All it
didn't build
takes is an
everything,
eighth,
right?
like
No.
roughly an eighth of an inch, something off, to tear or toss a belt.
Exactly.
Hey, you still running the big block Cadillac engine?
Still the 472.
472?
Yep, I dressed it up, stripped it down, stripped it down to the heads.
It's pretty.
It was
It's real
still
pretty.
clean. It only had
That was a
60.
good motor.
I think it only had 63,000 on it when I got it.
And
so
you,
I'm like,
you just did the
First
EFI on
life.
that, correct?
yeah, and then I just
First
yeah,
First
Yeah,
life.
right.
exactly. They don't do anything. They drive them, they clean them, they put them away. So I just switched it over to EFI.
They drove so little in
and-
this thing. Were they dead?
Yeah.
Oh,
So I just switched it over to EFI probably about April, I think, is when I started doing it. Yeah, so I put a sniper. Well, I'm learning something that nobody else knows, that a stereo system is really going to affect how the sniper system works.
Saying something to Ryan about
We were
that.
talking
I think
about
the
this. Is an
sniper would
interesting
mess up
story.
with the
This is
stereo.
interesting.
So it's pretty wild. So I was driving it the first time, and I put the sniper kit on. It was in learn mode, and I took it out and drove it. And this is before I retuned the stereo and did my.
You got that on like right before we got up there
Yeah.
because you were having issues at the first car show we went to.
So as soon as I got it on and everything, I didn't have the tablet hooked up or anything, but I went out and played my stereo, and I'm driving down the road, and I turned my stereo up, and the car was lunging, and I'm like, is my foot bouncing off the gas? What's going on? And I looked over at the sniper, and I saw the air to fuel gauge was kind of jumping around. I'm like, am I losing voltage at the fuel pump? And I looked at my voltage. It wasn't that bad. So we start playing with it a little bit more. I start tweaking the stereo, doing a few other things. We'll come to find out what it was doing is it was pulling down the engine when the alternators needed to load. Two 370 amp alternators going to pull some horsepower away from the engine. So it pulled away. And as it pulled the horsepower away from the engine, it was adjusting the air to fuel, saying, hey, we need more fuel. We got a problem. So it starts throwing fuel at it. Well, then the next time around, when I start the car and run it again, and I'm not playing the stereo, now it's like, hey, wait a minute, what's going on? We're dumping too much fuel. Take it away. So now the system's freaking out. It doesn't know what to do. So I had a guy throw a tune on it. He put the tune on it, he didn't shut off learn mode. He just brought the parameters way down. Fine. We picked it up. It was great. I drove it. It was fine. But learn mode took back over and wiped out his tune. And at Slamology, I was fighting it a little bit. So now I went back to him after Slamology. He turned learn mode off, redid a few other things. So maybe a few tweaks this weekend, and hopefully we'll be ready for Camp and Drag on Tuesday. So
Hell yeah.
Yeah, people don't realize some of the problems you can have with a big sound system. I mean, with carburetors, the
Habitual.
floats will. I've actually seen guys with the floats pop.
oh yeah,
You know, the carburetors, the float bowls will pop, just having those waves coming through.
Well, we had.
Speaking of camping, we should go do that show next year.
Yeah, I think that's going to be I think it's going to be our show
Eric
next
was
year.
pretty abusive about that suggestion
Our
yesterday
parents left
or
today
today.
to go there.
Well, Kurt's got stories. We're going to get into some of those here in a minute from
boy.
one of our buddy. We can say his name, right? Brandon's cool.
Oh, yeah.
Brandon Mitchell. Yeah. He has death matches with raccoons every year. Every year.
So we
It's
had
an
an arm
every-
wrestling contest with this raccoon, right?
Well, going back to his club, the Goodfellaz.
Yeah.
You can have any logo you want. So they all say Goodfellas, but you have
Right, and
on.
they've got your personalized logo.
So we're
I
going to put
think
up
it's
Brandon
really cool.
Mitchell's picture right here because and it's literally a raccoon with a brass knuckle hat and a switch box.
How do you earn that title?
You fight raccoons
you fight
year
them all
in
the
and year
time.
out.
Fighting the raccoons.
It's been in every year thing.
This is like, this is Peter Griffin and the chicken on Family Guy.
Yes.
There's a raccoon that's training right now for this year's camp.
See, we're all laughing right now, but when you guys come to Camp and Drag, you're going to meet these raccoons that we're talking
Like,
about.
I'm going to be
'Cause
fighting
they
them
are
too now, damn it.
telling you,
They got gold rings on.
they
thugs.
they
What's up,
break it.
baby?
coming in.
Whoa, whoa.
They will get right in your tent. They will take anything that's in there. I had one wake me up one night. He was busting open my styrofoam cooler to steal out some Reese cups.
He looked at you with a
He
Reese
was,
cup. He said,
he was underneath the
"Bitch,"
camper,
and
just
ran.
reaching out and just busting the cooler. I was like, dude,
I know it.
yeah, they don't play around, man.
Now going back to the EFI real quick. Again, when I was up there, Kurt's buddy Travis, he's the kind of guy that knows somebody that can get it done. So Kurt was having these issues with the EFI, and he called Travis. Travis goes, "I got a guy. Give me 2 minutes." He calls back. He says, "All right, head over to this shop." So you can tell a story about how you told the dude not to whatever you do, and
Yeah, so mind you, I told you every time the car leaves my possession, something happens to it. So I get there, I was like, look, I don't want to make you sound weird or anything, but every time this car has been out of my possession, something's happened to it. And he just looks at me, he's like, I don't even want to really touch it. And I was like, well, no, I mean, if you need to drive it, go ahead, but I'm just letting you know. So he was very careful with it. I popped the hood, I set the air ride, I did everything, I showed him how to start it. The dude, all he did was hook into the EFI. He didn't even sit in the car. He didn't do anything. He left the hood open. He didn't even shut the hood when he was done. He didn't want to mess with it. He didn't want to have that. And so he was pretty much the first person I took it to
Why you put that
where
evil on me, Ricky Bobby?
something never happened. And that's exactly what it was. And
so
it was great.
We show back up to pick the car up. The dude calls us, goes, "All right, it's ready, coming over." So we show up, and the guy's like, "Hey, I want you to to do the stereo real quick, and I'm gonna hook in, and we're gonna see. Kurt's like, I think we should probably back away from your shop. And the guy's like, why? Is it that loud? Yeah.
Why?
Yeah.
Why is it that?
We
like,
should get
I
away
will-
from any breakables.
I will knock stuff off your walls. And he was like, are you serious? I was like, yeah, let's go over here. So he brought out earphones just like these, what we have on right now. He put those on while we were tuning it, but it knocks stuff off walls. I go to D&B. I knocked a gallon of clear coat on his floor. Shit went everywhere. I was like,
Bloop, bloop, sound like
I was
a
like,
judge
you
of
want me to
milk.
pay for it? He was like, no. I've knocked rakes
Hey,
off
you
his
warned
walls,
him,
everything.
right? He's
Sound
taking
like a
trophies
jug
off
of
of your
milk just
garage.
came
Yeah.
out the fridge.
I've knocked stuff. I broke trophies that I got. I won with the car, and they knocked off my shelf when I had it in
You know the ones that probably didn't break though? The Lowrider trophies.
No, they're still good. I got them all at the house.
Oh man.
Weirdest
William?
thing. Just gonna throw a little dap in there on that one.
They confused us. That's okay.
So what made you do a hearse?
So I want to say years ago, goes back to Chris Jansen, actually.
Ah,
We actually talked
okay.
and we were down here one time about it, and me and him discussed it, and we were sitting drinking beer talking about it one time, and we both said how it'd be cool. Yeah, it kind of would be. It's a little different. Nobody else really has them. People are scared of them. So he built his, obviously.
You're
and
talking
I
way
thought-
back.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Holy.
This is
was
what
way
Chris,
back before he built the green one.
like
That's what I'm
2000.
saying. Like when
Yeah.
you said that, nobody else has it. I'm like,
Yeah.
how far back is this?
Yeah,
25 years?
At least. And we talked about it, and then he had the green one. He did a stereo and did stuff. And at the
Didn't you feel old
time,
yet?
I wasn't financially where I needed to be, so I didn't get one. I got one shortly later and built one, and the rest was history. It's
I
just
moved to
been fun.
Illinois in '99 when my grandmother passed, and Chris had just bought the hearse then. And when I moved back in 2000, that hearse was done. So we're talking at least 24 years now.
Man, that's a long time.
Had them for a
Just
while.
something you just wanted to do.
Yeah, just different. I always like older Cadillacs and everything, so it was something fun. It was something different. Everybody was scared of it or whatever they wanted
Right,
to be.
yeah.
You didn't know how to react to it. And
Yeah.
I've been to a lot of different shows, and it still blows my mind every time I take it somewhere. The people who have not seen it, I'm like, what do you mean you haven't seen it? To me, it seems like everybody has seen the car, but
I don't
there's-
even live in your state, and I know your car.
And a lot of people are that way, and I'm like, geez, man. I was like, how have you never seen this thing?
I've been trying to get him to bring this to Slam
Dude,
Fest
that
for
at Slam
years.
Fest would slay.
I'm
Would,
trying
100%.
to. I will. I'll get it down here at some point. And now I got a truck to do it, so.
It has a reservation in my garage for storage
Oh,
when it
I-
gets here.
Duh.
I just want to see Will get in it. Like, I've never been anything like.
Right?
But you gotta pack his ass with like 20 cookies before he gets in that.
Well, that's the biggest thing is trying to haul it around because I got a trailer with it, 24-foot trailer, and I used to haul it with my other truck.
Yeah.
It would have never pulled it all the way
Yeah,
down here
right.
through the
You gotta have
mountains.
a dually to pull that thing.
That's
Well,
what
now-
I got now.
He's got a Duramax that's bagged.
Yeah.
And
So I got a bag Duramax.
Everything.
I
You got
can pull
everything
it.
bagged.
So,
My house is bagged.
Pretty much.
My shop is on bags.
Heck yeah, all that coming down would be
Everything's all
awesome.
back.
Is the trailer bag? Because that would be tight.
No, not yet. That's a good idea, though. I need to get
Well,
it lower.
there you go.
well, talking about trailers, you bought that enclosed one.
Yeah, I had an enclosed one for a minute, and literally for
Yeah. You had an enclosed
man,
trailer?
this thing I own this thing for probably 3 days. I bet
The first time
pulled
we
the
loaded
car
that
in.
bitch
Did you do a system in that too?
See that happen.
I couldn't. When I pulled the car in, I laid it down. I had to put it up on blocks because when it laid down, it was going to hit the inner fenders. It was that tight in there.
Oh, wow.
And when I got out of the window, I was like,
Yeah.
Nope.
"Yeah, I don't like this." I was like, "It's not going to work." And
Yeah,
I think there
no.
was so much weight, and the axles could handle it, but there was so much weight in there that the inner tire started rubbing
Yeah,
on
we-
the inside
body
of the fender.
started flexing.
Oh,
Yeah, so it
Yeah.
rubbed, and I was
Yes.
like, I smelled rubber. I was like,
We
"What is that?"
loaded
They're
it
like,
up.
"It's smoking." I was
We
like,
loaded. I was behind him, and I was like, "Dude, what's that smell?" And he's like, "What are you talking about?" So we pull over.
That's
the,
never
the
good,
trailer had
right?
dropped down and was rubbing
Yeah.
on the tires.
"The car weighs a lot." I think
Yeah.
with the stereo in it and everything, I think,
Car, you're like,
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
fat ass.
yeah.
We unloaded the top. We unloaded the hearse on the side of the interstate. We unloaded the
To drive it.
hearse on the side of the interstate, and I think I drove the
You
truck,
drove the truck and trailer, and
the
I
truck
took-
and
yeah.
trailer, and he jumped in the hearse, and we
Took it back
drove
home.
it home because he couldn't trailer it home.
Are you running 2,800 psi bags? Like,
No, they're
or
20
pound bags.
they're
I was gonna say you run
2,600 pound bags.
semi truck bags in that thing.
They're 2,600 pound bags. They all the
I
way
feel
around.
like that's not
They
enough
are
at this point.
screaming.
They're probably hurting in the back a little bit now.
So the 2600s, they actually look like 28s now. They're ballooned out. They've given up on life.
Right.
2 of the plies are gone.
Are they at least
So-
Slam Specialties bags or anything?
They're Firestones.
They're Firestones.
No, they were Slam Specialties. They started looking like Firestones, and now they resemble
Right.
Conitech.
Right.
Those bags are not like
Now they
you.
resemble Conitech.
So
They're called
all in all,
2600s, that's not what they're
all in all, with the car and stereo weighs about 7,000 pounds, about 7,200 with me in it. So you load that on the trailer, obviously,
Yeah.
it's heavy.
That's heavy. You need to equipment
You win.
trailer
I
for that
thought my
one.
Cadillac was heavy.
Yeah,
Nope.
it's heavy, and that's the thing. I know every time it's behind the car, and then like when we get ready to go to camp and drag, that's why I needed the dually. I was looking. I wanted to get rid of my truck. I had a.
That thing's a missile.
I think I had a 03 Chevy with the 8.1 in it. It towed it. It didn't like it. Hitting hills, it's like,
It didn't like it.
okay. So everybody's like, oh, it's an 8.1. I was like, yeah, but the car weighs a lot. You got to put the car and the trailer on there. You're pulling bumper pull on it. It's like 10,000 some pounds. Here I am exceeding that almost every time I pull with this thing.
What was the rough number that this thing weighed now?
7,000, about 7,200.
Oh my.
That's just the car, and then you add the trailer, another
That's an excavator.
3,500 with the trailer.
His trailer.
I was gonna say, so you moving around like you're moving around
Yeah.
equipment. As
It's
well.
a heavy. It's an equipment trailer. It's a heavy
is,
trailer.
but you gotta have
Like
it.
we were towing the trailer. We swung by where we keep.
Surprisingly enough, my lift could still lift that though.
Yeah,
Right?
so-
I could do nine
10,000
grand.
lift?
It'll do 9 grand.
We swung by where the trailer was kept, and we hooked it up, and it's got the ramps on the back, the big, attached.
Yep.
With no car on it,
Drop ramps. Yeah.
that thing is super heavy on the back, and we're towing it on these fabulous Indiana roads.
These-
And this heavy ass trailer, because all the weight's on the back, it's like just going down the road. The truck's just.
Yeah. I told him it was
Ride the
heavy.
wave.
It's like Jesus.
That motion's sick.
Yeah.
That's
I
wild.
wanted a hearse myself. I actually almost bought a 69. And I was telling the guys, I wanted to call it stiff competition. It was going to be full stereo.
That's pretty cool,
The
man.
box was going to be a coffin shape. I mean, I had it all in the.
I know an orange one that might be for
It
sale.
didn't. It never panned out for me then, so I would have spent a lot of money on that thing. But stiff competition. That's the next one you should build.
So I
That
got
might be
mine.
your next build though.
Mine with the
Hey,
stereo in it. It's
I'd
called
do it.
Deadbeat.
I like Deadbeat. I think
what I
that
had
is
to
a
name
really
it.
I thought
cool
that
name.
was real creative, man.
Like we had to come up with something. I
Like,
remember
that
going.
was really creative, man.
So I tried to get the custom plate for it. I go to the DMV and I said, I want
Does somebody
Deadbeat.
already have it?
No, so and they're like, okay. So it says on there 8 characters. No problem. It'll fit perfect. I spell it out. I give it to them. They said, well, this doesn't work. I was like, what do you mean this doesn't work? There's 8 letters right there. And they said, well, yeah, but one of the letters needs to be a space. I was like, then that's not a letter.
That's not a letter. That's a damn
What is
space.
going on? So then I had to switch it. So now I spell it DED.
I was gonna say
DEAT.
DED.
That's why.
Right,
That's the
okay.
whole reason. We went to the DMV and they would not let me get it. I tried everything. I said, well, give me a truck plate. It has 8 letters. They wouldn't let that fly.
Just
'cause
so
it's
you
a
know, just so
commercial
we're all on the
chassis.
same.
Heavy as a
If they
truck.
knew,
I
if they
tried
knew how
everything.
heavy it was, they probably would have let you
Well,
have
it's a
that.
commercial chassis, so it should have been under a truck frame
Should've
anyway.
told- just so we're all on the same page here, a space is not a character.
That's exactly what I said.
That's not a character. That is a space.
It didn't fly, but I wasn't happy on that one. I tried everything to swing
You
it
can come
through.
to Florida because they don't make you have that space.
They don't even
You
make
put the
that.
whole
You
word
don't.
in
You don't have
there.
to have a license. You don't have to have registration.
You don't have to
bro.
have fenders or
I think
tires.
Florida's only
Vid-
7 now. Florida's only 7 characters.
VIN number.
Only 7.
Ah.
Yeah, maybe
You
that's
know,
why they don't
just-
make you have that.
You don't need
space.
that, right?
Everything could be a Buick Roadmaster if you wanted to.
All the little stuff.
It's a true story.
I like these Roadmasters.
You would.
I like them too.
Road
would.
monsters are awesome.
Yeah.
My dad had one. We were just
So-
talking about it.
And you're in the
Somebody's
Goodfellas.
gonna own one of those.
Yeah.
How
So,
long you been in there?
so I picked up with the Goodfellas probably about, I'm going to say probably about 4 years ago now. 4, maybe almost 5 years ago now. These guys started back in 01. Good group of guys, man. We started out and they came and approached me and they talked about it.
Seems
I was like, I don't know. I'm not really a club follower that much. I'll hang out with all the groups that I know. So we talked and I said, I don't want drama. I don't want all this stuff. I don't want to be,
Sound
you have to
familiar,
go to
Trent?
this show. You have to go to that show. You have to do this. You have to do that. I didn't want rules. We didn't want that. We have a set of rules, but it's very laid back. We don't go through any of that. And I told them, I said, if there's any of that stuff, I'm out. And they were like, no, there's none of that.
It's tough to
It has been like that.
pop that cherry to go into a club when you just don't want to deal with drama when you see so much of it.
Yeah, it's
So
a
I get
double-edged
it.
sword too. with
These
clubs,
guys,
get it.
every
you know.
one of these guys, I don't care which one it is. I can call them up right now, and if I haven't talked to them in a month, it'd be like we just talked yesterday.
That's.
And it just goes like that with
I
all
think.
of them.
I think a
Just
lot
press
of it is
pause
based
and-
off of finding the right group of people.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Period.
We could, and we're all gearing up for next week to go to Camp and Drag, and they're all
I'm
prepping
excited
for it
to
right
see
now.
the content from that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
there'll be enough of that, I'm sure.
Yeah, these guys are, like I said, I was impressed when I was up there. Like
Trent knows his car liked the Indiana roads and fell apart, and one of our club members jumped right in,
Multiple
was
times.
helping him fix it.
Yeah, somebody's car fell apart. You had one vehicle trying to wave you down, like, "Hey, wait!" And lost the whole ass arm.
Exactly.
Brandon, the raccoon wrestler. Literally,
Live action.
literally the day I met him, he's like, "Do you need me to throw your exhaust away? Like I'll take it to work." And I'm like, "Yeah." So he grabs my muffler and exhaust, throws it in the back of his truck.
Yes, sir.
So,
I think that came off the car, homie.
like he's underneath my car helping me cut the exhaust off.
Yeah.
and we helped him put his bet on.
Well, yeah, he's probably way easier
You
than
know.
raccoons.
Right.
A little easy to wrestle that. Huh?
Exhausted
They're all solid dudes. I can vouch for every one of them.
That's cool.
It's
That's
growing.
good.
More and more people around town are seeing it, and
Oh.
they're wanting to join in with us and stuff. But obviously, we have a different way of doing it. We don't just say, "Oh yeah, you could prospect that easy." We'll let them come hang out with us, and we all got to fit the vibe. So we had another
Right,
guy,
yes.
and he came over, was like, "Come hang out for a while. Just start hanging out
That's
and
it.
see how it is."
There's no time
so,
frames. I like
no,
that.
so
I
we
like
let
that.
them hang out, and they'll join. We all decide if we decide we want them to be around or not. And everybody we have so far has been solid, and everybody's working out great.
How long he been coming around now? Well, about 3 months. What do you think? Bring him in? All right.
Pretty much. That's kind of how it works.
We've all
we
seen
just-
And then-
those
I dig
guys.
that.
And then,
dig
if
that.
I'm not mistaken, like once they get the okay, then you're actually a prospect. Like at that point, then you
Then
get
you
like a little
become-
mini
Yep.
sticker, and you do your prospect
you
time.
do
Brings
your-
us
So.
to the next point of
Probate time.
quality over quantity.
Yes,
pretty much.
That's to me the best clubs. You're picking a
100%.
level of quality people and not just numbers. You know?
So-
Oh, let's just get a bunch of people in here. Like, nah, man.
I know a couple of these dudes from passing. The majority of the club I didn't know. There wasn't one person in that club who didn't offer help that we goes up there.
That's the
nice.
level.
Yeah.
That's the
You know,
level at which
it was
you need
it
to
was
be.
pretty
It's all
cool.
about, It's a
He
family.
could tell you he came up, and a lot of these guys jumped in and helped work on his car when it was up there.
Yep.
He was
I mean,
sharing a lot of stories, man.
right now.
It was literally it was just like all y'all were there, but just different people. It was just the same group of people, just different people. You know.
Yeah, when Trent came back, he had nothing but positivity to say about you guys up there.
Yeah,
It's like a
solid.
salesman. He's like, you need to get the club up there, or the group up there. We need to do a
Well,
commercial
actually,
up there.
You guys,
The two groups are going to meet. We're
Yeah.
going to meet in Vegas.
you're gonna get a taste in Vegas of a few of them. They'll be there.
Maybe bring the full banger.
Yeah, bring the Flabango. I don't think Ryan's eye.
There
can
goes
take
one
it
right
again.
there.
Yeah, I don't think Ryan's
Cookies
eye can
down.
take it again. There's no way,
There's a
man.
raccoon here.
Where's Brandon?
Well, we've all known those people that have had really nice rides, and you're like, man, I'd like to have that car or truck
Right.
in my club, and then you find out the
And
person just
then you talk to the person.
Oh, dude, that's like meeting your
yeah.
idol or like a celebrity
Yeah.
and
Right.
finding out they're just full of themselves, and it just desroys your whole look
Right.
at that person.
That's why they say never meet your heroes.
Right.
You're
right.
right, exactly.
Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Like the way they do it, they got a good setup.
If it
100%.
resonates
That's
with
good.
us, then I already know it's going to be some solid ass people.
Oh, you'll like them. Yeah, they'll get along. We'll all get along good.
Vegas is going to be, well, it's going to be 15 deep, 20 deep.
But can they put up with what you had to put up with the day you met me?
Can you put up with what they're going to put you through? Is what the question is.
Oh, great. Let's get a room.
The fact
Oh,
that he didn't blink an eye about
Yeah,
that
trust
makes
me.
you
No, we
wonder
got
what
him.
kind of guys he's hanging out with.
we got them. We're good.
I know we're good. We're all going to be good. You'll see. You guys will get it. These guys are solid guys, man.
Oh, yeah, man.
That's good. I'm excited, man. I'm excited for the Vegas trip.
And you got, what you got?
I'm thrilled. I found out y'all are like.
They keep talking about it's like, when's Vegas? When's Vegas? I'm like, we'll be there. Don't worry.
So didn't one of them say, Ryan, you're coming to our Vegas trip? And you're like, nah, fool, y'all are coming to our trip.
We're rolling what 20 deep roughly because we also have a couple people on the outside. A customer of mine, the Suburban that I'm doing, he's bringing himself and his, I believe, 2 sons and his wife. So he's bringing the family. So roughly in the roundabouts of
20.
18 to 20 people. It would be mob. I believe 20 is a mob at that point.
Pretty much.
Speaking of which, we have to get our Peterson tickets. They should be, September
Right?
should be open now.
We
So.
might lose a couple on the way back. Like, listen, we started off with 20. There are 16 left. Where the hell?
Right?
They're going to look at him like, oh, delicious. Bye.
Why are we passing plants back here? What's
The background
What
is
in the
moving.
hell
May
is
not
going
come back.
Things
'cause they're
are
in
happening.
jail.
Our jungle
Okay.
background is moving.
I know you guys are on a
Moving out.
podcast, but we really want to plant this out in the front yard right now. At 11:30 in the evening, we really got to get this in the ground.
This is the
now.
prime time to plant something.
That's true.
I got to have this in the ground now.
So yeah, you guys are taking back off for Indy tomorrow morning.
Yeah, so tomorrow I head back to Fort Wayne. I want to say first thing in the morning. Our flight leaves at like 8 in the morning out of Tampa. We'll get back home. I got Saturday, Sunday, Monday to prep, have everything done, car ready to go. We pull out Tuesday morning.
For camping drag.
Normally,
Kickstands up, baby.
yeah, normally we don't go till later part of the week, but me and the wife will go down a few days early because I want to say a few years ago. So at Camp and Drag, everybody kind of has their area, and it's known to everybody there. Like this is their area, that's their area. Nobody
right.
ever goes in on it.
And nope, does anybody ever argue that?
Not really. It's been pretty good. Well, then one
That's
year
cool.
we let some guys in the front corner of our area because we didn't need all that area. We were being cool. We let them in. it was a bad move.
I was gonna say.
So
mistakes
we're
were
like,
made.
yeah, we don't want them here no more. So every year they kept trying to come. They didn't want to listen because obviously they know that's our area. So we get in trouble if something happens because the guy that runs the show knows that we're back there. So these guys are causing problems. We said, no, we're not having that. So the next year we found out they were going down on Wednesday. I said, well, they're going down on Wednesday. We're going down on Tuesday. So we went down on Tuesday and roped the
Gotcha, bitch.
entire.
Locked it all. Locked it in.
That I remember because I was sitting there on Wednesday when they rolled in, and I was like, "Oh, here they come!" They came around the corner and just stopped. Like, now what? Like they had no idea where they were going to go because I roped off.
Everything.
It was a
Everything.
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 I have to send a
Everything.
picture. I don't know how much caution tape and how much I used, but it was enough to fit. It had to have been 4 or 5 acres that I roped off. That's why I'm willing to bet the area that we had. It was huge.
You need.
Yeah, we're
just
bringing
a whole
10 cars.
It was
Okay,
running down.
okay. I'm not trying to be stingy, but aren't there like 11 guys on that club? Why do they need 2 acres?
Oh, we needed a lot. I have to
Gotta-
show you.
gotta sprawl out.
It's a
we
big
need,
area.
We need leg room, baby.
It's a big area where we went, but you got guys that camp along the wood line. We camp up the other side. The middle's all open. You can't,
Okay.
if you want to camp there, you could, but nobody does. We always camp around the
Okay.
outside, so it's a big area. And then we got the whole frontage area up there where all the vehicles park.
I've seen the pictures. The area looks beautiful, man. I've seen the
It's
pictures.
nice. It is literally in the middle of a cornfield. And when I tell you guys that, you guys are gonna be like, "What? What's going on?"
But
Like,
we got the majority of us here.
nowhere.
That's wild.
Do we want to lock this in for next year, camera drag?
No.
Justin will see. Huh?
We discussed that loosely. He's got a few ideas on how we get locked in with campers.
Well, they got to open up the applications for next year.
How about we're 90% firm on camp and drag? We're going to discuss the details in the coming
Because I know you got
weeks.
to be approved. So you
Yeah,
have to
it's a simple application
So-
process.
Yeah, you just put in an application.
We're
they'll approve it.
90% going.
Just a
with
simple
camp and drag.
background check.
Okay.
You'll fly into.
I think I'll
Indy.
be okay.
Yeah, you'll fly into Indy. And
Him? I worry about.
you fly into Indy. And
This
it's
one.
not very far.
This
away.
is the one I'm concerned about. He's on lists. apparently.
He's on a no-fly zone. As soon as we get on the
He has
plane,
no fingerprints. We're fine.
they're looking at each other like,
not good.
They'll be going through the applications. Yep. Ooh, no.
this will be me right next to him.
You got to take like the Buick next year and all
Slide
that as
back.
you go? Or are you just going to fly to do camp and drag?
I don't know. If somebody else is going to tow, I'll tow.
You could definitely sleep
If I have something to tow,
You got stuff.
You guys.
Well,
Allegedly.
hopefully the glass house will be back
Oh,
by
we don't
next
say
year.
Not now. Good job.
He
We're
put
all
that
done.
out there in the
it's not that it
universe.
won't be back.
There it
but
is.
will it be ready?
I think my wagon stands a better chance.
That's cold blooded. That's
Because I'll
cold
put my
blooded.
truck behind my RV and I'll go up there.
We need an RV, yeah.
You got an RV. There you go.
If you're going to tow, I'll tow.
Just
If
don't
somebody's going
sell.
to tow, I'll
Listen,
tow.
don't sell the trailer. You can fit 3 cars on that, right? Two. All right, there it is.
Why don't you buy it? You want $35K?
I might at this point. I can't buy the lot next to me. I might just make that my new shop.
Yeah, right.
You guys will enjoy
Yeah,
camp and
I think.
drag.
I know
for sure.
people.
We need to go to Camp Drag.
It's a fun
Actually,
show.
our 1-ton pulls that trailer. It just looks really funky. Big old stacker in a small truck.
The little engine that
Whipping
could.
it around.
Truck will be screaming.
Listen, if the glass house, if we get the engine back in and it's all good and everything, the interior's right, I'd tow it up there.
How's the engine coming? You guys touched it yet or no?
Not yet. Whenever you're ready, baby.
You still got a year.
Yeah. Next couple weeks, I'll be done with what I need to be with. And
Yeah, your truck's coming along
We're
pretty
actually
nicely, boy.
Discussing that. He's like a week to 2 out from finishing his truck. and
Listen,
then
I'm
it's
not
like,
in a hurry at the moment. So whenever you're ready,
God,
buddy.
there's so many jokes I can line up with that. Yeah, we understand when you're not.
We know.
The engine will be, yes.
We are aware.
I hate all of
Put
you
your hand on your shoulder.
equally.
Patience of the saint.
That's right. I hate
Saint
you so much.
Chevrolet.
That's messed up.
The glass house going to be a born again virgin when she's done, baby. She's going to be pure.
He's like, why am I doing this again?
I hate you
Don't mind me.
guys.
That's the whiskey talking.
I'm aware.
I'm going to have another sip. It's delicious.
I'd say shut his mic off, but he doesn't have one.
That's true.
Shut his mic off. He's over here like, I keep pulling it back. He keeps dragging it to him.
One more thing.
And listen. It's like I'm over here talking to the bottle. Listen. Oh.
Oh man.
So next you need to get Deadbeat here.
That's on the agenda.
No,
Now I got a truck.
It's got to be
I'm
done
working on
next
it.
year.
Well, I got to work.
I
out
bought the Buick up. You bring.
I
the
told
beat
you I
down.
would. I'm
that's-
trying to work out the bugs on the Duramax right now. I bought it from a guy.
Let's speak about some bugs on the
Man.
Duramax.
Let's talk about that white whale.
The
We're
white.
not even talking about that one. That's a noise. I don't care about that one right now.
You don't care.
not
you
that
don't
one.
care, bitch. I was underneath that trunk with you at 11 o'clock at night because you didn't care.
That was just giving you something to do.
He has.
Because you didn't care.
He has a rattle between 45 and 55.
Yep.
Good spot to be.
And it's not even bad, but like you're cruising along and you hear, and he's like, "You hear that? You hear that?" I'm like, "No, I don't."
And I got the loud stereos. You see what I mean?
We literally had the car in the shop. He went and got chassis ears. You ever seen these things? Alligator clips that you clip on to where you believe a noise is coming from.
Really?
And then you have a box in the car, and you click on each one individually.
Okay,
One,
that's
two,
wild.
three,
I've
four.
never even heard of such a thing.
So we're driving around, and he's like, "All right, it's back here."
That's wild.
He found the noise like 15 times in the 3 days. This has got to be it. We're up there. We're putting
Everything.
sound deadener. We're cutting pieces off. He's like, "That's got to fix it. Drive it."
All right, so so you know a heat
Mulligan.
you know a heat shield rattle, right?
Yes. Oh.
Yeah. Now you
really?
see what I mean. He doesn't get it. It's a heat
I
shield
hate
noise.
those. I can't stand those.
Yeah, so it's been So when I bought the
You
truck,
get those a lot when you got a vehicle on air ride and no shocks, no damping.
oh, I got shocks. I
I'm
got
saying,
the
like, that's
truck.
when it's really
I bought
bad.
the truck of a guy 3 hours away from me. Drove over and picked it up. I started driving away. I hit 55 miles an hour. What is that? What'd he do? What'd he sell me? I thought the truck was messed up. It sounded that bad. And I was like, no, that sounded like a heat shield. I listened to it most of the way home. Like, okay, get up over a certain speed, it goes away. Whatever.
Speeding everywhere you go.
So it's been there the whole time since I owned the truck, and I just started checking it again when these guys came up. But the first thing,
Obsessively.
no, the
checking
first
it.
thing. So you got to find
He
everything.
commissioned you, so apparently
Commission me, commission Ryan. Ryan almost got divorced. She's like, "What are you guys doing?" I'm trying to find a noise in Kurt's truck. Get your ass inside. It leaves me out here. I was
and
like,
you over there like there's a noise right there.
Like, it was there. The worst thing was I bought this truck. It's a 3500 dually.
Yeah.
Hitch was on it, hidden hitch behind the roll pan. Okay,
wow.
no problem. Put it in, right? Looked good. I couldn't see everything on the hitch, right? Took it down to Slamology the first year. We got down there, and I remember getting out, looking down, saying, "What the hell's wrong with my hitch?" I started looking at it. The car was bending the receiver. It was bending it down, I thought. I was like, this ain't good. So at the back of the frame, it looked
That
like
car just is not friendly.
I'm telling you, it looked like nobody had bolts in it. So I got some bolts, put it in, thinking I was going to draw it back up to the frame. Well, couldn't see. It was a roll pan. All you could do was feel everything. So we put the bolts in, tightened them up. Apparently, that was where the frame was notched out in the back where there was nothing above it. So it couldn't hold on there. So I literally have to get the thing back home with the hitch leaning down. Tell all my club members, like, hey, keep an eye on this thing. Let me know if it moves anywhere. We get it back home.
I do some sketchy things on the drive
Yes,
home.
man.
So I pull the roll pan off. I said, what is this? I remember pulling this hitch out, and the only way I could explain it is a guy took a hitch from a minivan. I swear to God. And he mounted this thing underneath there.
I already know where this is.
And it was completely bent down. He tried to weld brackets on it to the frame and bolt it on. It was completely rigged on there. And I was like, this
Cobbled,
is not
that's
good.
the word you're looking
so
for.
he's got like a
Right.
he's got like a class. What a class?
So now I found a class 5 hitch that is rated for pulling the sleds on dirt tracks. You know, when they go down
wow.
So it's rated at 20,000 pounds, and it had like a 2,000 pound tongue weight. I said, yep, give me that
So
one.
it's stronger than the chassis at
Yes.
this point.
Yeah.
So it's and
But
it
the first one
mounts
was
it
like a
further
class
forward.
1 or 2. Like we could tow a lawn trailer maybe.
Yeah. And yeah,
With potted plants.
exactly. So it was working all the bugs out from what everybody's done. You know how you go over. And that's why I told them, I said, I'm
that's
not
more than a
going out of
bug.
town until I fix everything that I feel on the truck. So that's what I've been doing, going through stuff. I got into the air ride. Another thing. I was
Really?
It was simple. The air ride was great. Whoever put the system on, they did a great job.
Okay.
It was all.
Okay.
It was a kit that they bought from like Gauge magazine or something that was a $7,000 kit when they put this kit on. They probably had 15 grand wrapped into this whole setup. I mean, I looked at it, I was like, man, it's a nice kit. Semi bags on the rear, you name it. It's all done right.
8 what? Like so those are 12-inch.
I feel like there's a
triple
butt coming.
triple.
There's
oh,
butts.
there it is.
There's butts coming.
12-inch triple stack bags, 18 inches of throw.
No, they weren't triple. They were one bellow bags. They were
Well,
huge.
single bellows.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, so it's set up good. It put shockwaves on the front. Shockwaves are $900 a piece.
Easily.
So I get into it, and it was going to be, I'm going to switch the gauges because they had them down at the center console. I didn't like looking down trying to see them, so I wanted to put them on A-pillar. Yeah. So I bought new gauges. I was going to put them in there. I go to pull the gauges out, and I'm like, oh, I'll just put them up here. Well, they're not going to fit in an A-pillar because they're so big. Okay, let's just do digital. Make it simple. I got underneath the truck, and that's where the problem lies. When I seen all the wiring, I said,
So there I was under the truck.
this is
Again.
not going to work. I rip it all out. I tear everything out of the truck. They had a compressor in the front behind the radiator. Tore it out. I tore the tank out. I tore all the valves out. It had Air Ride Technologies valve manifold block in there. That's $1,000 manifold. Yeah. I didn't want it. I still sit in my shop right now. I put all new valves right on the tank. So I redid the entire setup, put 2 new compressors in the bed, redid it all, put all digital reading here. I was like, I don't want to get stranded somewhere.
I think I'm so jaded from owning a custom shop and then also working for a custom shop that I can't purchase any vehicle, stock or modified, without literally getting under the frame. Like not like figuring it out as you're going along, like you said, but I'd have to get under the frame and see everything that was done.
Yeah.
Period. Before I even purchase it.
So when I
because
bought,
of this stuff.
When I bought this from the guy, and I thought he was nuts. He tells me something, and I'm looking at the truck because he tells me, oh, it's super clean, it's clean, it's clean. I get there. His definition and my definition are clean, are way on the different end of the
It's
spectrum.
always that. It's
It was
great.
bad.
It's great, and it's a rat nest.
So I sat there and stared at it for an hour debating if I wanted to buy it. I was like, you know what? I could fix all this. Some of this cosmetic, I could fix it. The bones were there. I'm going to go with it. So I got stuff I'm still working through. But he told me when I got in the truck, he said, hey, if the compressors ever don't work, you got to rotate this knob here. He was talking about the dimmer switch inside for the interior lights. And I said, what?
You're like, give me that money back.
And I looked at him and I thought he was crazy. I didn't think twice about it. I bring the truck home.
You got to Fonzie the window one time.
I'm telling you.
And it's good.
So we bring the truck home. The wife's like, oh, I'll clean it. She starts cleaning it. What does she do when she cleans the dash? She turns the dimmer switch down. I get in. I fire it up. Why the hell ain't the air ride working? I ain't got no air. What's wrong? I was like, oh, my God. So that was
you messed
another
up.
thing.
The air compressors are on the base knob.
Yeah.
The old
Listen, one doesn't have all that.
I somewhat can relate to that.
Oh, my God. Yeah, you can.
I
bad,
can
man.
somewhat relate. So I've got a '95 town car, and I put a new stereo in it, and apparently the stereo and all that stuff is all connected in through your steering wheel controls and your HVAC, and it's all connected. So now when I turn my car on to get my AC to work, I've got to turn my headlights on, and then that lights up. And then if I'm lucky, I can turn the headlights off, and the head unit, the control unit, will stay on.
Right.
So every time I gotta turn it. All right, get my temp, turn it off. We're good. Yeah.
It's fun working out bugs.
L1, L1.
I'll bring Brandon down here to look at his stuff. Brandon.
Yeah, fly him down here, get him looking at it.
Yeah. And I did all the plug and play harnesses.
Yep.
So I didn't have to splice nothing.
I'm glad to know you both have the cheat codes to your own vehicle.
Exactly. Up,
down, left, right.
Select. Got it. All right, we're going.
Anti-theft.
Yeah. So he keeps trying to get me to get down here, and I told him, I said, once the Duramax is in decent shape where I feel comfortable, then I will.
I like Brian said, that thing will murder a Slam Fest.
It'll be
Absolutely. It'll sweep stuff.
I've actually,
What,
me and Ryan have
Andy?
actually talked before about
We talked about
literally sending the car down here on a hauler, putting it in his shop and leaving it here for the winter months because I'm not going to use it up there, and then just fly down and go to shows and then go back. And
Spring break.
Make it a clean sweep, pack it away, go back up north.
right.
Take it to the Rod Run. It would do really well in the Rod Run.
for sure.
Take it to Slam Fest. It is going to kill at Slam Fest, and then any other local things we can think of. Probably hit up a Scrape in the Coast. That was pretty recent. So
Yeah, the guys have been talking about coming down for that one.
we do that. But
Thinking about it.
Steel's a big stereo show.
what's up?
Made of Steel's a big stereo.
Made of Steel.
Yeah, a lot of guys go to that one.
You would clean
So
up.
what you're saying is just come down, hurt feelings, pack it up, go.
Right?
Well, once the 59's done, we're going to steal it for a year.
Yeah, there you go.
So That way he's got something to play
Oh,
with up
where's
there.
your hearse? It's actually on tour right now.
So then it's
I'll gladly be the caretaker of it.
Yeah, it's on the Florida tour.
Right?
the Florida leg of its tour.
Yeah, it's on the Florida shot, right?
No, but like Slimology, they created a class for Kurt.
Yeah.
There
Created
wasn't.
a hearse class.
There's a hearse class now. There never was.
Hearse or hurt?
Hearse, yeah. Hurt feelings.
Is it more than
Hearses
Feelings.
and limos.
so it's got limos in it
Yeah.
too?
Yeah,
Start
McMahon used to
switching it.
come to the show until he sold
Yeah,
it
McMahon
last
had
year.
one. Somebody else had one a few years ago. They have different ones here and there.
Yeah.
But his category initially was like what priest.
Lowrider.
Priest. It was like
Take that stab right there. The guy
They
can-
got a lot confused up there.
it was. They didn't have as many classes back in the day. It was like pre-80s American. So against 64 Impalas, against everything pre-80s. So they ended up making his own class for him, which he.
Yeah, we only have one hearse that comes around. It's that front wheel drive Cadillac. when it comes around.
That I don't even.
The black one with the flames. That's
Front
the only
wheel
one that
just
comes out.
Yeah, this one will definitely
it's
get people's
technically
attention.
a hearse, but like that's
Yeah, that's the only one that comes
that's a
around.
hearse.
It's Freddy Krueger themed.
Yeah.
I went to a lot of different shows with it, and it does surprisingly well at all of them, which
You
I
did
didn't
the-
think it would.
you
I
did
went
the
to
Hearse show, right?
I went to a Hearse Fest,
Wow.
Hearse Fest.
and I was like, I don't know about this one. So we decided to go. It was up in Michigan, loaded on the trailer, took it up there, and there was a
I
lot
never
of
even
questionable people there.
Knew of hearse fans.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's literally a show of nothing but hearses.
Yeah. Crowd was a little wild. So we get there and I'm like, let's see what this is all about. I didn't think because it was so custom that I would get the like of it that I
Yeah.
did. Everybody was surrounding the car the whole time, playing the stereo. Everybody was loving it.
They're all looking at it like we can do this to it.
Yeah.
Oh,
Well, that's what a lot
I missed
of
the
them,
boat.
a lot of them were all original, and that's what they
Yeah,
all
that's
wanted.
what I figured it
they
was.
wanted straight original, or they wanted. There were some that were customized, but mine was the most severely custom with air ride and everything
Oh,
else
of
done to
course.
it.
Stem to stern, man.
Yeah. And it was like, okay. And it did good. And that was the only time I ever been to it. And they keep trying to get me to go back. I'm like, I will one of these times.
Y'all are weird. I'm not going back.
You guys are weird.
Thanks for bringing us up to.
I got some pictures.
Thanks for bringing us up to date on your build there, man. I'm looking
Yeah.
forward to.
There's a organization that does Cadillac or not Cadillacs, but station wagons. You could actually go to that too.
It fits everything. I've been to lowrider shows, anything. It does not matter where it goes.
Yeah,
Even the
lowrider.
old classic car shows.
Works.
The Rider.
Well, I've been to classic car shows and it still works there. Don't know how. It does.
Real quick, what do you got? What's the plan for the 59? Because you have two, but you're only building one. So
Yeah, so I bought a 59 Coupe de Ville. It's been my bucket list car forever. So now I bought one, and this is over in Ohio. In
What's better than
Findlay.
one? Two.
Yeah. I bought it in Findlay, Ohio. Literally had the car.
It's hard enough to find one.
Yeah.
Let's get two of them.
I think as soon as I bought it, my body guy texted me. He goes, "Hey, you need this body." I said, "What?" It was a 59 body on a rotisserie. I'm like, "What? No way!" Literally 45 minutes away from the house. It was at an auction place, and I'm like, "What?" Rotisserie manufacturer bought this body. They redid the floors in it, redid all kinds of panels in it,
Oh.
and they had it on a rotisserie to show the rotisserie off. So I said, "Well, let me just put a bid in on it, see what happens." I threw a bid on. I was like, "Let me just go $1,100, see what happens."
I was gonna ask.
Yeah.
That's nothing.
So I put $1,100 bid on it. It comes up and it starts going. It's like 100, 200, 300, 400, 500. I mean, it's jumping like that. Yeah. I was like, man, I'm never going to get this thing. It gets to 900. It just stalls out. And I'm like, there's no way. Goes to 1,000.
So you proxied 11.
Yeah. It goes to like 1,000 and it just stops. Nobody else bids on it. I'm like,
You're kidding me.
sold. I was like, did I just win that damn car? And that's the first thing I thought. Won it.
You got a floor reworked.
Yeah. So it was
$59
$1,100 is
for
pretty much
$11.
what I had on. I think I paid like $1,050
You
or
can
something.
throw that
fees.
away for like
Yeah. So I got
5
that.
to 8 grand.
And I thought, wait a minute, I'm doing a restoration. Why not get the rotisserie? The rotisserie came up right
How much
after,
was the
right?
rotisserie,
I thought,
baby?
man, that's what I tried to do. So when it came in, it hit that fast and it was gone. I was like, what just happened? I didn't even know what happened. It was gone that fast. So somebody obviously had a bid on that, and I didn't even get a chance to throw a bid on that. So I didn't get the rotisserie, but another guy at town had one. So now I got the
My word,
rotisserie body sitting in there, and I got my 59 on the frame, but I got it completely stripped down right now to
Good.
doors off.
ready to go on a rotisserie.
Not that one, because that body, I'm at the point now, and I was telling these guys, so what I want to do, it has the X-frame under it.
Okay.
So now I start thinking about more and more, how much money am I going to put into the X-frame? How much am I going to do sandblasting it, doing this, doing air ride, doing an LS motor swap, doing everything like that? What am I going to have in it? Well, I found a company, Roadster Shop. They build one for the 59, a full frame, not even an X-frame. And I'm like,
Ladder frame.
Wait a second.
Probably like anywhere in the 10 to 15 range.
A little higher than that.
Oh, so we're in the
Yeah.
20 to 25 range.
So it's sitting about, I think, pretty much getting it with what I want on it, probably around 21, 22.
I was just going to say, is that fully
But
loaded?
that comes with
Okay,
Big
that's
Bear
loaded.
upgrade brakes. That comes with
Everything.
air ride. That comes with the LS mount kit ready to go. It comes with the rear end. It comes with
They'll come
the
with
whole
everything.
9 yards,
Loaded.
everything ready to go. And it's literally in Illinois, probably just north of Chicago. So we're talking 3.5 hours away from me. I can go up there and get it.
Literally,
So you driving up there
work
to
the
get that.
body, drop it on the frame,
Yeah.
marry it,
Connect it. Yeah,
done.
that's it.
For
Yeah.
what you paid
Drop
for the
LS.
body, even what you
Yeah.
paid for the frame setup, it's still well worth it.
Yeah,
Well,
if
that's
you're
what
getting
I mean.
chassis
How
that's
much
loaded,
money you're
that's
gonna put in.
worth it.
Yeah.
That's worth it.
And that's where I'm back and forth now. And I was like, so the body, what I have now on the frame, it's pretty much ready to go where I could sell that whole setup minus bumpers, minus glass,
Make a
minus
few-
doors,
make a few
minus
pennies
everything.
back, man.
Try to get some money back from that and
Recoup
throw it
it.
back into the frame. That's what I think I want to do at this point.
I think that's a good. I think that's a good goal
It's a
for
good
that.
idea.
Now, is this? Let me guess. This is going to be slammed fast and with a healthy system in it.
No.
Not like no. I mean like healthy, like just a nice.
Yeah, it'll just have something
A nice
small. 'Cause
system.
Everybody's like, how big's your stereo going to be? I was like, not big at all.
That's what I'm saying. When I say a
Everybody's
healthy system, I mean something that knocks real nice, but not.
He's
like
not trying to
competition.
tear the floorboards
No,
off
No,
the 59.
not competition. Just something that.
I said like
do that.
some
Yeah.
10s or 12s in. They're like, you can't do that. I was like, I got the hearse. I'll go home and get
What
that.
do you
if
mean I
need it."
can't? I've already proved my point. Like,
Right?
yeah. So something that knocks nice, but
My goal with
okay.
this one is to be able to jump into it and drive it all the way down here if I want.
that's cool.
I want an LS swap
And
it,
you know what?
AC,
I
everything.
think your best bet is that chassis.
Exactly. And I seen what they had to do to it. They just sent me, because I was messaging them back and forth a couple weeks ago, and they told me I got to raise the center channel, obviously, for the drive shaft to come through. And then I got to raise the
Little
rear.
choppy.
Yeah, I got to raise the rear floors in it.
I love that. I
That's
love the
easy
choppy
right there.
choppy game.
Sounds good.
Right? I was like, that sounds like a great idea.
Wonder if they make one for the rear gear.
They do.
They probably
Sure
do.
they do.
Twin Turbskis wouldn't hurt it either.
Yeah.
Little twin Terpskis.
That's been talked about too. I don't know if that'll happen.
Jesus.
Exactly.
It'll be loud in a different way.
Jesus.
Gotta get down here fast, don't I?
So,
Great.
That's
So you
my
go
idea.
fast and loud. Great. Anything else?
Exactly. No.
Sounds like sounds like Will. Fast and
all
loud.
right.
Jeez. Anyway, Kurt, thanks for joining us, man. It's good to finally meet you, man. Hope you guys have safe travel back.
Sure.
Yeah, man. Thanks.
Hopefully this definitely isn't the last time we get to
Oh, no. We'd be going back up there.
get together. So
see
Well,
you in
Will's
Vegas,
in
and
on
we'll
Slamology.
see- We'll see you in Vegas. We'll see you in Slam. We'll see you at Camp
for
and
sure,
Drag.
for sure, man.
We'll get you
I'm
guys
excited.
set up.
I like it.
Be a good time.
Awesome.
Heck yeah, man. That wraps up this episode of the Lifted, Lowered, and Confused podcast. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Catch you on the next one.
Left button, Will.
Left button.